When I finally obtained a copy of it and read the book, I was distressed. I ordered the book destroyed, and anyone who believed or practiced its precepts expelled.
Why would someone go to all the trouble to forge this down?
To discredit me and our community.
Why?
We're a threat to the established social order, to government and churches.
A threat? How so?
We believe in God's love, not man.
Your own son and daughter testified against you.
I feel so sorry for them.
Are any of the things they said about you true?
Not at all.
Are they lying?
I think they believe what they're saying.
Y'all in the middle of an eight-patient unwanted police informant that can't prove shit,
About what they did.
personal, restaurant shit,
That's why
police
I feel
informant,
sorry for them. I think
rapists and
they're
shit.
victims too.
Thank you.
Did you ever give your children drugs?
No, never.
You never gave your son David Quaylen. You had a prescription for them.
He may have taken them from me without my knowledge, but I don't know.
And you never encouraged any of your children to have sex with each other or with adults.
Of course not.
And all of the testimony we've heard from ex-members, which contradicts what you're saying.
I have a lot of enemies.
Because you're such a threat to the established order today.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have, Shelby?
We're flourishing in a number of countries.
According to the FBI, you have less than 10,000.
That's a gross underestimation.
With many of the younger ones leaving as soon as they're able.
That's not true. They want to diminish us.
And charging you and your cult with sexual and physical abuse.
This campaign against us has been going on for decades.
This conspiracy against you. All lies.
There may have been a few instances, a few excesses early on, but we dealt with them.
Why, Shelby? Why would all these people, these agencies, governments, your own children, conspire against you?
Every great spiritual and religious leader throughout history has been mocked, scorned, persecuted. You should know that.
For instance?
Jesus, Muhammad, Joseph Smith, Galileo, Saint Francis, Mary, Queen of Scots.
Did you put yourself in their company?
I'm studying my A-bomb. They some dummies.
How should I find the defendant guilty? People be like, oh, y'all gold. I'm like, you don't know what we went through to get to this moment, right?
Yeah, because you retarded.
And I don't wish it on nobody, you know. The end was over. Yeah, I would love it. You know, but everything we went through, I want my kids to have to go through as much as we went through. I want them to go through things. I want them to have a relationship that challenges me, because it builds the relationship, makes it stronger. Some of the things we went through, no, I want my kids to be able to.
Bro, I'm on the phone with him, Daddy. Y'all got me fucked up. Fuck you.
And then find your life partner.
That wasn't people who would say that, I know you're saying you have regrets. Nah. Nah.
We did it so they don't have to. We got married in 2003 in Greensboro, and then in 2004 we moved to Los Angeles. So we were only married, for a year before we moved. I mean, we had been together for 6 years. As soon as we moved, my mom got sick back in North Carolina, and I had to go back and forth the next 3 years until my mom passed away. And he was in the police academy.
Who's them still in my car?
And we weren't, seeing eye to eye on anything.
Gonna hack in my goddamn bank account on the old Avon.
Couple years of marriage.
That's why y'all retarded.
And I think that, and I often think this, if we had still been home in North Carolina, we may not have made it. We had to figure it out.
You're forced to have conversations.
Yeah, we had to talk.
Things alone. You can't get upset and blow up. I'm gonna go my life.
There was nowhere to run.
There's nowhere to run.
You better go to the port out there.
You in LA, and
Go
you
walk
ain't
on
got
Grand
no
South.
family here. You better walk over the hill to the houses up there.
Yeah.
Go back.
It takes a while, or took a while for me, to learn how to be married and feel good about it. My first marriage was, all of them start out well. But, my mother used to say, I love you, don't mean come live with me. So, when out of it, I was like, okay. And when I met you, she was the married kind. Even though one of the first things she said was, I want to get married. I'm like, hey, I'm cool. And I remember the day, we've been dating for 2 years, and she said, I want to get married, I want to have babies. And in my mind, I was like, no, that was not the agreement. You did not say that. I mean, and I started to really give her the business about it. But she was so serious that I realized it was one of the few times in my life that I realized that was not the joke to tell at that time. So I said, okay.
Okay, so we met 17 years ago. I was dancing for
No,
a
you
Beyonce
tried
at the
to.
time, and it was right when she stepped away from Destiny's Child. I had a career and a life and all of these things before I met him. Especially married to an athlete, I found a lot once I wasn't gone. And I was
You just
home
retarded because you was never in
the
Destiny's
value
Child.
that people
Fucking
had for
retarded
me
bitch.
was not the same value that people had for him. Like, they assumed that I had this. I was so lucky to be married to an athlete, which was so far away from who I was as a human being, that when people approached me that way, like, they wouldn't even call me my name. They would call me Ephraim's wife. And I'd be like, I have a name.
Athlete my ass.
There was a whole part of our relationship
Didn't
where I
tell you
had to
shit.
learn how to gain my independence back without the independence that I had
You ain't got none.
worked so hard for and what I connected to as independence as far as my career and things like that were concerned. And that was very difficult. And I would take it out on him a lot. I was resentful a little bit in the beginning, like, oh, I quit my career for you, and now my name is Ethan's wife.
My dream of becoming a professional wrestler was always in the back of my head. But my mom was, in a sense, she was like, get your education first. And if it comes after, then you can follow that.
But he didn't tell me all of that when we met. He had gotten in the law took the LSAT, gotten a law school, a couple of good ones.
They ain't retarded. They're my oldest.
I was
See?
like, okay, he's not going to go to law school. It's like, okay, if you want to wrestle, you got to wrestle. There's no more backyard, random show wrestling. And so that's when
They're my oldest boy by Apple.
on, going to WWE.
Marriage is a constant.
And my father just short fuck.
In the everyday. I mean, now we have 2 girls at home. So I lived with 3 women.
That's a challenge for me because he puts me in the juggle of the children.
What?
You do. He'll say, you girls, right? Come on. I'm like, I am not one of the girls. I am the mother and the wife, not the girls. I mean, but our biggest challenges have been re-entry because he is gone for really long times. Now, when we first got married, we had a 2-week rule. You can only be gone for 2 weeks, and then we have to figure out how to get to you, or you can get to us. But 2 weeks is all I can take. But you know,
Life's not like that.
yeah, it really has not worked out like that. We had this thing where no matter what, I was always at the first home game.
Which doesn't even make sense.
It does. When you're building your relationship, you have those things like that. Your little traditions that you create. And I was on tour with Rihanna at the time, and I tried to make it back to his first home game, and I couldn't. Like, I was like 5 hours late. We used to have this thing when he played. I would always be there when they were practicing on the field for the first home game. We'd see each other. We'd give each other a little thing before he would walk into the stadium. And this is the last year I danced. I was on tour with Rihanna. I think I was in Canada somewhere, and my flight got delayed. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna miss it. And I was late. I came in the middle of the game. And he was so upset. He was like, you missed it. You told me you were there. And this is not to harp on him or say that he was where he was too. We had our thing. And so that was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, my relationship is struggling. And I was a little bit older, so I was like, am I going to keep doing this? Because it's going to probably end my relationship if I keep doing it. Or am I going to make the sacrifice to not do this anymore, this thing that I had worked so hard for, to now move forward in my life in this way with this person who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I made that decision. And I made the decision to progress with my husband and start a family with my husband. But that came at a very heavy price for my well-being.
In terms of not seeing eye to eye, okay, just so I can give you a better understanding. Her mom was ill with ALS. I'm going through the police academy. We're in what I like to refer to as a foreign place. Culture shock is an understatement if you really knew where we come from, right? LA, Eden, North Carolina. It's completely different. The other issue, or the other thing to take into consideration is our age. And then I've never dealt with death. Okay, so new to marriage, dealing with death, foreign land, completely different from anything I would have ever imagined in my career choice, right? So the emotions, and then we're supposed to be here pursuing your dream, right? You put all that into a pot, and you got a mess. I was raised by my mom, no experience with death at this level. And when I was getting married, and one of the few in my family to ever get married, I said it too, through sickness and in health, but I did not imagine that goes beyond her. So when it did, and she was dealing with that, I didn't know how to help her.
Yeah, so we got married, and we knew we wanted to try to have a baby kind of fairly quickly, so we just started living, not protecting, but not trying, just living.
Yeah, just living.
And we like 4 months after we got married, I got pregnant, and he got 2 major companies to reach out to him, and I was like, tell them both about the other one. They need to know they're in competition, because if they know they're in competition, they're gonna move fast to get you what you want. And both places he applied to, the roles were supposed to be in New York, and he started going through the process, and neither company wanted him to be in New York. And it was very real because, like, our support base was in New York. We're about to have a baby. We just bought a house. I was uncomfortable with the thought of him interviewing. He was so excited, and I'm like, I don't want to take that from you. But I'm not that happy with the thought of leaving New York and leaving my mom. And my best friend was pregnant at the same time with me, and like the thought of raising our kids together, like it was uncomfortable for me. Like, and I never, I guess I never said this to me. I never shared that with him, but it's like, how do you support your partner? And
What? Like doing?
I really don't like you right now.
Going through emotions.
And we done moved all the way out here. Now you got a job, I got a job. Like, we out here. We don't know nobody else. Shoot, we can't even afford to get a divorce.
You want to know something that's crazy? That's my girl over there.
You're going to push your relationship to the limit by dating other people.
It's gonna be fun.
Take those rules, whip them up. If you kiss her on the show, you're taking it too far. We're gonna have a lot of work to do. Put a ring on it. Season premiere Friday, June 25th, 10, 9 Central.
For all the dads who make everything more fun, get 25% off South Active brand and Gold Pass on Father's Day gifts you'll love. Gold.
Your light. It comes from within. It drives you. And it guides you to shine your brightest. As you charge ahead, illuminating the way forward, a light maker, recognizing that the impact you make comes from the energy you create. Introducing the all electric whip, lighting the way. Colgate Ultimate. Next 10 years of savings. That's like back to 2011.
What about now? Camila? Emma?
10 years of savings with Colgate Ultimate.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Switch today and get 2 lines unlimited and 2 free smartphones. Plus, you'll now get Netflix on us. All this for up to 50% off versus Verizon. It's all included. 2 lines of unlimited for only $70. And this rate is fixed. You'll pay exactly $70 total. This month and every month. Only at T-Mobile.
Oh, I've travelled all over the country talking about saving with Geico. But that's the important bit, isn't it? Showing up, saying, hello, fancy a nice chat. Then we talk like 2 old friends about sticky money, all the savings you could get by bundling your home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. You feel that? You just had a moment. Who'd have thought it?
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
When it comes to laundry, everyone thinks their way is the right way.
I wash them delicate.
I just stuff everything in. You have to wash on cold because it saves energy.
Secret is, Tide Pods work no matter how you wash, so everyone feels right. It's got to be Tide. Frozen.
Deliciousness.
Summer face like medium frozen drinks and innovates freeze-dried companies.
Come with us.
Frozen. Here it comes. Another song. Paradox. Deliciousness.
Same on summer face like medium frozen drinks and innovates freeze-dried companies.
it was uncomfortable for me. Like, and I guess I never said this to him. I never shared that with him, but it's like, how do you support your partner? And
What? Like that. That's crazy.
I wanted to support you. I wanted you to be happy. And you were so excited. Like, I don't think you know how excited you were. And like, up getting one of the jobs, and he went to California for a month, and I was by myself, and I'm like, people say they want to be there for you, but it's like it was very lonely. Even being home, I was alone, but I wanted you to feel like you were supported in that moment. So
Yeah, I never to this day have felt that. Like throughout the entire process, I have full support of my.
You get
in my
you get
prospective
upstairs.
wife. She knows like this career change is
Where
gonna
you
change our
are?
lives if I'm able to
Come
get in
upstairs.
the tech,
Can you
now
hear me? A
finance.
phone
I
out of
genuinely
there.
did not know this is the very moment that you ever felt away over the last
I know.
5 years. That's crazy.
My contract with
Thank you.
WWE was from 2007 to 2014. Within that time, I had 3 major injuries, which was at the time when I was home. Before that, so at least for 4.5 years to 5 years of that time, I was home 2 days. I come home, I want to home cooked food, I want to stay in my bed, I want to sit down. She's like, I've been home all this time. I want to go have a good dinner. I would love to go stay in the hotel room. Spend 20 nights in a hotel. She wanted to do the things that I was doing, and I think it caused a lot of just a little bit of issues because I couldn't see it from her point of view.
And I wasn't used to having him at home.
Yeah.
Like I said, he leaves all the cabinets open. So it was like, great, you home, but I see socks and cabinets open. That's all I see. And suitcases. Socks, suitcases, cabinets. And so I just get annoyed walking around the house closing stuff, cleaning up after him.
for the past 4 years, he's been shooting Greenleaf in Atlanta. And year number 1, we tried to commute with him so he could commute and let him stay there so he could, be solid. Everybody loves the bishop, right? Bishop gotta be solid. But then after that, it wasn't working for our girls, right? And so we had to reevaluate. Sometimes things will happen at 9 p.m. It's midnight in Atlanta, and he's worked on it. So, and then sometimes he's just stressed, and I don't want to call him with something that is going to be so upsetting, and maybe I can handle it. But that doesn't always turn out
stupid.
the best, because ultimately he'll say, you should have called me in this situation.
Well,
But that has caused,
You heard what I said.
No qualms whatsoever about using his fame to escalate the situation, to get the media involved.
Get their attention. The swimmers finally realize there's a life or death struggle going on.
Washed up cool back playing college. I'm a lawnmower salesman.
No fue porque no me lo pidieron. Es porque nunca dije sí.
¿Por qué me dijiste eso?
Había algo en tu voz por teléfono ese día.
I'm here to help protect our people. And I'm here to build a dam. Now, are you okay? Anybody working with you? Oh, no. I don't work with it. No, I don't work with it. No, I'm not working with it. Also, it's for them. I'm here to build a dam to my head. Listen, are we okay? Not for a fight crime. Listen to me, not. Stop this thing. You understand? Stop this thing. If you are going to take a fool, I don't want to fight crime. You know, protect our native people. Basta!
I didn't even type. I wasn't in. I ain't doing shit. That's how you know your police department can't even see me. Bitch.